Oh, hi.
Yay, we're so glad you're here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So make sure that you guys comment that you're here. Tell us where you're from, all the fun stuff. We're super excited. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, actually, where we just want to let people jump on and say hello. I can't believe it's Wednesday already.
I know. Almost June, and it's the end of June.
That I know. I just had my baby turn 2, and I'm like, how is that even possible? I just had him. And you know what I love? I love about technology. This is probably my favorite thing. Is I'm in Arizona, Kimmy's in Maryland, and look at what we are just having all the fun.
We are.
I know. I love you.
Yeah, yes. Oh, I love you. I miss you guys.
I know. I just found some townhouses, in Arizona, some condos.
For my winter vacation home.
For your winter vacation home, yes. Yes. Okay, we've got some people on. Yay. 2 of my favorite sisters. I don't know who that is, but I'm assuming it is, let's see. I'll look on the Peek in the Pink page. Technology, right? Okay. Let's see. Hey, make sure it's Tracy Chavez. Trace, I'm
not missing you. Chavez.
Yeah, I'm missing you. I'm at the Pink Caddy Shack. I was just telling Kimmy, people think a 2-year-old's hard. I got teenagers at home. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave. Okay. Well, you know what? We are going to go ahead and get started. We've got some people on. Make sure you guys comment. Tell us you're here. We want to say hello. And you guys first of all, we want to know who invited you. So make sure that you go ahead and type it in the comments and just let us know, because they want to get credit for it. So we're super excited. And you guys have the pleasure of hearing from today the Kimmy Hurd. Do you like how it's Kimmy? Like, that's just Kim Hurd. Kimmy is just
Kimmy.
Endearment, right?
Yeah.
And as Luke will call her, Auntie Kimmy. Yeah. So we're super excited because one of the reasons I think I'm super excited to hear from Kim is because I feel like Kim is one of those people, when you walk into a room, you can't wait to be in the room with her. Have you ever had that feeling? Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go see so-and-so. Kimmy's that person for the entire world. Because it's true. One thing that's going to happen when you see Kimmy is that you're going to laugh. And you'll probably laugh until you cry or laugh until you pee. It doesn't matter, but it's going to happen. And on the other note, not only is she hilarious, most people don't always get to see the sweet nurturing side of her because she is so funny. But we went to a leadership together in Hotlanta, is what people call, right? Atlanta, Georgia. People call it Hotlanta.
Yeah,
well,
not so much.
I was pregnant, literally throwing up everywhere, and Kimmy was just taking care of me the whole time. It was the most fun trip, and
if I remember correctly, that was when you stopped getting sick.
Right after that, I started to get better.
See, I have healing powers too. Y'all just don't know.
I was finally in my almost 3rd trimester or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm almost done. So yeah, we went on the indoor Ferris wheel.
Yeah, it had heat. Praise the Lord.
Okay, we can tell you stories all day, but that's what it's like to be around. And I just want you to think about this for a second. Think about the people that bring you energy. Would you love to not only see them all the time, but work with them? We were just talking about that before we got on. No matter what you do, we all have different passions, different callings. There's a ton of different companies you could join. But the culture and the sisterhood of Mary Kay is unlike anything I've ever seen or even experienced. And I've had people, I just had a woman who came to my training who's not in my company, who is not a part of Mary Kay. I told her, come to our training. I love for people to see how we train, what we do, and share that with the world. And she was like, there is nothing like this in my company. She's like, I've never seen anything like this. What is this? And so I know a lot of you are probably like, I'm not looking for a new best friend. I'm looking for a business. but maybe you are looking for healthier, more positive relationships. You have no idea what kind of friendships are going to come out of this Mary Kay world. Like Kimmy, you are probably like one of, if I could put all like the top, like you are one of the people I get the most excited to see and to be around. That is really, and I love you a lot. It's just,
I love you more.
So I'm glad we have technology so we can do this. But I want to talk about the Kimmy that people didn't know before Mary Kay. The successful insurance. The successful insurance agent. I think at that time you said you were in your mid-30s.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Carmen, she says next to me, of course, Carmen, of course. And you were running a successful business. Talk about what that looked like for you. Maybe what it looked like on the outside, but really what it felt like on the inside.
Well, I had been in insurance for years and had just relocated and found an agency up here to go to work with. And it can be a lot of pressure running that and working that. And, you don't always leave work at home. Sometimes you take it home. We actually, while I was there, had a hurricane come through, which normally doesn't come this far inland because I'm in the northwestern part of Maryland, but it happened to come through that way. And so we closed the office early, but we had to be on call because if anyone had issues, we had to be able to get through for them. So it was just a lot on your plate. And I don't know how many of you can raise your hand and say you love your insurance agent. Wait, there it is. Yeah, do you? But most people don't. So, usually when you're calling your agent, it's because there's a problem. So on the other end of the line was me trying to be nice and calm. And so, you do that, then you come home and you have to take it with anyone who works, a job that can be stressful. You come home, you take care of your family, and a lot of times you take things out on them that you don't intend to. But, the famous saying, it's the price of success. That's what I thought was the price of success. Boy, was I wrong.
That's brilliant. That's what you thought the price of success was your family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
first took deep breath. You went like when you were talking about your insurance, like almost like, oh, even just talking about it, like
yeah. I mean, you can feel the days when you would come in and you would just walk in the office and go, you know what? There's a stack on your desk of folders like this of work you have to do. And you're looking at it going, and that's just what's left over. That doesn't include what's going to happen today. I really don't want to be here. But if you don't do it, who's going to? So, it was the stress. It was the headache. I did work with some great people. That made a difference. That's what kept me there as long as I was. If it hadn't have been for them, I would have probably left a long time before that. If I had found something that could have taken the place.
Right. Okay, so I want to ask you, when you went into insurance, was there a reason? Did you have a passion for insurance? Was there something you were excited about that you wanted to do with insurance?
No. Y'all know, a lot of you know, I grew up around cars. My dad drag racing and in an auto body shop and all that stuff. So it just so happened I went in to pay my insurance one day. The girls were little, and my insurance agent was at the front desk, and I was like, "What happened to your help?" And she says, "Well, she quit." And so I said, "Well, hey, if you need help, I can help out." And so she was like, "What days can you work?" So I actually worked with her, and I was like, well, what's the next best thing? I don't want to work in the body shop. I did that. So I was done with that. So I worked while the girls, because they went to private school. So I took them to school and dropped them off, went and worked there for a few hours, 3 days a week. And then I got off in time to go pick them up from school. And then that just eventually led to more hours and more.
I love that it started with, how can I help?
Yeah.
Because there's that famous Mr. Rogers quote, if you look for helpers, you can find them. And I never realized that about it's really how much that's so true until I got into Mary Kay. That great women, awesome women want to help. No matter your personality style, like I would say I'm the least likely to help. I'm the nurturer. I'm not a helper by nature. But if somebody I knew and I loved said, hey, I need some help, I would be like, okay, I can help you. Or I'll find somebody who's good at what you need. That would be me. Like I'm resourceful. And so what you were was help for that person that turned into this, this huge thing, but it wasn't passion. And in Mary Kay, I feel like that's what we're doing is we're helping women find their self-esteem, their self-confidence, finding their beauty. And we're not dealing with a stressful product or a stressful, I like to say there's no makeup emergency, but you've not, there can be a makeup emergency. Thank God we're allowed to keep our products on our shelf because I'm like, girl, if you need it, you can come pick it up at the front door. Be there. It's going to be here. Don't worry. It's okay. We'll get it to you. I'll drop it off in your mailbox, right? So, but really that helper thing I think is huge to me. Like that's why you started insurance. So tell me what got you to start Mary Kay then?
Well, I actually had originally been introduced to Mary Kay when the twins were 2.
Okay.
And it was a way for me, I was home all day with 2-year-old twins. I needed adult time. I didn't care. I was so excited to be able to be out one night a week, to go to the meeting, to be around these women. I didn't care about anything. And I did it for a few years, making some extra money, getting me out of the house. And Carmen made me promise when I said, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back. I'm going to get the corporate 9-to-5, which is when I started insurance. And she said, promise me, Kimmy, that if you ever decide to come back into Mary Kay, you'll come back as my personal recruit. And I said, I promise.
Wasn't that a good thing for her to say to you?
She's so brilliant.
Brilliant. And brilliant. Hey.
But again, she followed up. She serviced me for my product. She sent me samples when the new things came out. She stayed in touch. So when I got to the point where I was working full time, I was driving an hour and a half each way to work. So my day started at 4:00 in the morning, and I was driving to work, being at work by 6:30. I wasn't getting home until 6:30 at night. I was exhausted. And then trying to fit the kids in, it was a mess. And that's when I finally said, you know what, there's more to life than this. I've got to find something else to do. Because in addition to that, my husband was deciding to start his own construction business. So I was also running his office for him, doing that in the evenings and weekends. So when I made the decision, I was like, I have to find something else. And the words out of his mouth were, what about Mary Kay? And I was like, well, what about it? And he said, you know what? You were never happier than you were when you were doing Mary Kay. And I think you could be great if you gave it more time and attention now. So, I literally back then we didn't have the computer. Well, we had a computer, but it was like, we won't talk about how long ago that was. But so I actually I called the company because I couldn't find Carmen's number. So I called the company. They called Carmen. Then she got in touch with me. We found a director in the area who had an agreement. I ran to her house on my lunch hour. This is how serious I was to get out of insurance. Took my lunch hour, ran to her house, filled this agreement out, took it back to my office, FedExed it to Mary Kay. I was done. I was serious.
Well, and I love that. I love a couple of things that I heard. Like one, as a mom, I can relate to the leaving the house. So I remember people would say, oh, you can do this business and just do it from home. And I was like, I have to stay home the whole time? I don't get to leave. I want to leave. I am not built to be a stay-at-home all the time mom. That is just not how God created me, and I'm okay with that. And so I love the opportunity that Mary Kay gave us to say, no, you get to leave and get trained and have adult time, have mom time. And for me, I just heard this quote the other day that I started taking care of myself because I watched my children mimic everything I did. And I did not want to leave a legacy of not taking care of myself. And I thought that's exactly what Mary Kay was for me at a season of life, just giving me like almost an escape, just a place to be free and like fun adult. Like it was the adult version of like Chuck E. Cheese, but cooler, and I can make money, you know? And then so I feel like, and now we have this opportunity where we can have our business in person eventually again and get to see people again. And also have this virtual aspect where we can kind of combine the two and be connected with people across the country. But like Kimmy said, we also all gather, you know, we do gather during different times of the year to recognize each other, to spend time with each other, and have some girlfriend trips, right? We have adult trips that we also get to make money at and do some fun things. So that really resonated with me. I'm glad you said that, because I think that was really powerful to say, like, you just needed some time for yourself and you didn't know how to give it to yourself. I feel like we have a hard time giving ourselves permission to take time for ourselves to build our dreams so our kids can watch us and learn from what we're creating. And I think that's so beautiful. And the second thing is that there was nothing that was going to stop you. There was nothing that was going to stop you. And one of our national sales directors just quoted this the other day, and she goes, the measure of a woman is what's going to stop her. And Kimmy's like, nothing. Nothing was going to stop you. And I think that passion and that purpose is so much bigger than anything else. And when you find that, and Mary Kay can fulfill that for different people in different seasons, but I love that you're like, I don't know what this is, but I got to get out of here. So thank you. That was like huge for me. That was like an aha for me, like what this could mean for different people in different seasons. So, okay, so you're in insurance. You're obviously doing well. You're a little stressed out on the inside, you know? And so when was that? What did that look like? How did Mary Kay weave into your life with twin girls, David having his own company, you helping him with his company, an insurance company, and Mary Kay?
And a farm.
And a farm. I was like, okay, I know there's more, right?
And a farm. Well, you know, that was something else too, is because, you know, I wasn't giving myself enough credit as to how successful I could be starting another business with my Mary Kay. So the self-doubt was something I had to work on. And with the Mary Kay family and my husband's support, that began to change. And what I realized was Mary Kay is made to fit into my life, not for me to fit my life into it. So at that time, I needed to be able to fit it where I could without taking any more time away from my family, because my end goal was to be able to have more time with my family. You know, I think we spend so much time trying to give our kids things and trying to make sure we all have the best of everything, the best of what we have is what the love that we give to our kids, the attention we give them, to show them, we don't give up, we don't quit, we work hard, but family comes first. And so it was so important for me to be able to spend more time with my family and less time at work and ease up the stress. So I worked also at the time the girls were playing rugby. So I had a captive audience with the moms who were at rugby practice. It was a 2-hour practice 3 nights a week. So I would make phone calls. I would make deliveries. I would facial the moms. I found places to work it where I could build my business. And I know at the beginning I had to give a little extra sacrifice. I understood that because I knew what my end result was. I wanted to build this business so that I could put the other one down. And the more I worked at it, the faster I could do that. But I didn't want it to, at that point, consume everything and put more stress on me.
Right.
So I learned how to weave it in.
And what you're kind of saying too, like this just resonated with me. You learned how to weave it in, but it was an investment into your future time with your family. Like exactly. You knew that keep investing time into your insurance was not going to ever give you more time.
Exactly. But short-term sacrifice for long-term gain.
I love that. And I love the word invest. And the reason I love that word is because, you know, a lot of us will go into debt and we will spend money on things like hats, jewelry, clothes, nails, all the things. Yes, that's all debt, you guys, if you're not paying for it for cash, which thank goodness for Mary Kay, because everyone says I'm extra, but guess what? I can pay for my extra, so it's all good. But really, that's all debt. Any of that stuff, we're not investing in anything, but investing in ourselves, which is really what you are doing. You're investing your time and your talent and your treasure in getting better, and then look at what it's done now. Like that investment, and an investment means it can grow. An investment means it's going to get bigger. An investment means it's going to come to fruition. It's going to build something. And that's what I love, is the difference between giving your time to a 9-to-5 over and over again to have no long-term investment is really the craziest thing. When people tell me I'm crazy, I'm like, no, you're crazy to work this many hours to get a 50%, 50-cent raise every year. You're the crazy one, I promise. It's just,
I'm glad you said that, Robin, because right before I quit my insurance job, I said something to a friend of mine who was adopted director that I had here. And she said, well, Kim, what are you waiting for? And I said, I'm waiting for my end of the year bonus. She goes, well, how much is it going to be? I said, $1,250. And she says, Kim, that's $100 a month. You're hanging on for extra $100 a month. And I was like, well, now that you broke it down like that, no, I'm not. I can make that in a weekend. What in the world? So, I mean, and it was the way my mind worked at that time for what at that point in that journey was important, was just, I mean, it's always important to make money or to be able to support your family, but that was an extra $1,250 that I was going to get, that I had no other way to get doing what I was doing unless I worked more hours, adding more clients, doing whatever. Then, like you said, there's no long term. I continue to do that forever, and I'm going to continue to yes, I can increase my pay, but only by so much. Whereas with this, I'm not taken away from my family now. I work my schedule. Yes, when I work hard. But when I play hard. And boy, do I like to play. But it's my schedule. I now have the 4 grandkids, and it's boating. They crab every weekend. They go crabbing. I mean, it's just, I can do that now. I can say, I'm not working weekends during the summer because I'm spending it with the grandkids because they all start school in the fall. I have that ability where I couldn't have done that before.
Right.
And yet I make more money.
See, and I love that because I look at my schedule right now, and I'll just kind of share. I don't really work Mondays and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays, like, were fun before quarantine. Luke and I would just have a fun day. We'd go to the zoo, we'd go to the museum, we'd do whatever. And we just had fun all day, Mondays and Fridays. And my team even would be like, okay, Robin, I know it's Monday, but I have a question. I'm like, it's okay, I can answer real quick. He's napping or whatever. And I really work mostly Tuesday afternoon through Thursday. And and then I like to work Saturday mornings because everyone's doing chores at my house. So I'm like, okay, you guys do the dishes, do the backyard, clean the house, and I will go work. Yes, we will trade that. So like, exactly like what you said, in this season of life, that's what, and I have girlfriends who are like, no, I only want to work, 1 or 2 days a week, or I'm only doing this. And that's that's what I call flexibility. And then being able to say, hey, she just got a text before this, like, hey, I'm gonna need you to watch the grandkids. She's like, okay, let me, like that. But she can choose to shift her schedule. Yeah. And that's just not a choice that most of us have. Even, I look at this pandemic we're a part of, like, I have, I had this no longer an option to have my son full time, but I had a choice to be able to work my business while I have a 2-year-old on my hip. Like that, I mean, if you're in insurance, you definitely can't do that. And not a lot of people are going to understand that you have a baby crying in the background, right? Like that's a little different. So I just love that you shared all that, because the other thing that you said that I wanted to hit back was, you said that you had some self-doubt about growing another business, right? Like you had already created success. You're like, really, I'm going to start this over. But I love that your vision in your mind was big enough to say, well, it doesn't have to take forever. Number one, it can be as fast as I want it to be. as much time as I put in, I will get back 10 times. And I can do this again. You know, for me, I had a very similar conversation with myself. Like, I'm making this great income. And when my husband and I looked at the hours I was working on salary versus the income, I'm like, wow, I don't know that I'm actually making minimum wage at this point when I'm, you know, the extra time that I'm putting in, but I'm on salary, so it's okay. And I thought, but wait, with Mary Kay, if I would have put in that time with Mary Kay, look at what that would have turned into. And, you know, for me, after quitting my job, it was only 3 months before I replaced my income. And I did not get that, you know, like that's pretty awesome if I do say so myself. Like the fact that I got to choose to do that. No one told me I couldn't, or no one told me I could, or give me a promotion. I could just do that. And the same thing goes for anybody who wants to feel like they have to restart. But in the beginning, for you, it wasn't like you had to go full force, right?
Well, no. And you know, when you look at the bigger picture, who's in control of your paycheck? I'm in control of my paycheck. And isn't that kind of everyone's end result? You want to be in control of your life. You want to be in control of your retirement. You want to be in control of your family. So if I can control my hours, I can control my paycheck, I can control all of that. You know, it was also the thought of, I want the steady paycheck. Okay.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Let me ask you this. Do you not work a steady 40 hours a week for that steady paycheck? And I can promise you that if I work a steady 40 hours a week, I am going to blow that paycheck out of the water. Amen. And not even look back. So I can work a steady, a lot less hours than that, and still make more than I was making working 40 hours a week. Because when I work hard. But it's my schedule of when I work, and I'm determining my paycheck. Nobody else is telling me how much I'm going to make. Nobody else is determining my paycheck but me. That's totally me.
I love that you brought that up, because I love it when people say, but Robin, I need a steady, I want the security of a paycheck. And I said, when you say the word security, and to you, that means that someone hands you a check every 2 weeks. When I hear the word security, I hear, hey, we need new tires, Robin. That's going to be $400. And 2 days later, I can give my husband cash and say, here's $400 for the tires. That's what I call stability. And I have a story a little bit different. My dad was in the military, and we had, he had a steady career in the government. And when he retired was one of the worst times, in economic, like we are right now. And he was not paid for a very long time after he was retired. And how many people from the government were furloughed and not having income? I mean, I just say, whatever you think is stability, you should rethink what that actually means. Because to me, stability is based on the effort I put in, I will return. And that's not always the case in this world. And I think of any time, this should all give us a thought that nothing's ever stable or steady. I mean,
well, you talk about stability, and I'm talking about controlling our paycheck. We've all still had control over our paycheck through all of this. The 9 to 5, bless their hearts, unfortunately, a majority of them had no control. That stability that they talk about with that paycheck was gone.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing. I still had control. I had control over transitioning my business to be able to still bring in that paycheck to pay for my, pay my family. And I mean, we put 2 kids through private colleges.
Yeah.
Paid for 2 weddings. Lord love them in the same year.
Well, and that's so true. And I think changing your definition of what that looks like is so crazy to think about that mindset. And I think we're all conditioned to think a certain way. And I think as much as this has been horrible, and I never would have imagined or wished this on anyone, and I just see what it's doing. And at the same time, when something like this happens, our minds automatically change. We don't, our whole world has shifted and changed, and we're all looking at this differently. And maybe for you need to look at a new lens of what is your parachute? What's the thing that's going to save you if you need it? And I would say a financial tip, do we have savings? You know, are we saving money for if something does go wrong, no matter what kind of business you're in? And that's something my financial advisor will be very proud of me to say, because that was not something I was great at. But just looking at that perspective and saying, how can I, and I remember Carmen saying to me, Robin, Mary Kay doesn't have to be for you for always, but what if it was your pink parachute? What if you needed something, Mary Kay could be there for you? And it was at one time. And now, I mean, it's no longer a parachute. It's like, it is everything to me and my family. So I just love that you shared that, because I think right now in this time, you know, what could you do with an extra $100 a month right now? What could that do for your family? An extra $500, an extra $800 a month for your family. What would that do? What would that change? Would you have an emergency fund at that point? Would you be able to put your kids through private school? What are the things that you have the ability? So thank you for making us think a little bit outside the box and just sharing your story. I think that is really powerful. And I think our stories are so powerful. And I love that I've been able to share this with you today. And for those of you that are watching, I want you guys to comment what impressed you the most, or what did you resonate with Kimmy? Like, what did you hear? Like, oh, that's me. I even saw someone comment. I can empathize with that when we were talking about the stacks of paperwork and the stress.
Can you hear my grandkids knocking on the door?
I love it.
Sorry.
I love it. That's what I love about this real life. It's like, this is real life. Your kids are back there and you're like, hey, give me a second. I'll be gone for 40 minutes and I'll be right back. Don't worry. But I think that's so true. Like, that's our real lives. That's what we do every day.
Yeah.
People never got to see it because we were all not on live doing it.
That's right. That's how we roll.
You were all like, this is not. Now everyone gets to see what it really looks like.
Now
right?
they've moved to the window.
Oh my God, I want to see them.
I locked the door because I saw them out there. I had a feeling they were gonna. Anyway, it's what life is about. Being able to do what you love, make money, and put what's most important first, and that's your family.
Absolutely. They're really trying to get in. You might as well let them in now. What's your name? I forget.
I'm on a call. Sorry.
What's your name? I always forget it because it's interesting.
What's that?
What do they call you?
Bala.
Bala. That's what I'm like.
Yeah. The oldest grandson. We don't know where he got it from. They call me Bala.
I like it. Okay, so before her grandkids barge in the door, we're going to go ahead and finish this up. So we just want to let you know, Mary Kay, like we said, it's different for everybody. It can be a reason, a season, a lifetime. You can be a smart shopper, save 50% on all of your products, which I don't know why everyone doesn't do that. That just seems insane to me. But I'm glad not everyone does, because we need our customers. But still, 50% on all your products. Or, hey, that pink parachute, let me make an extra $100 a month. Or maybe you're like, you know what? I'm okay with investing in myself and building a future for my family. That's what I'm looking for. And so I want to really know your honest thoughts of Mary Kay. Like, if you were to ever do this in a million years, what would your dreams be? What would you be good at? Just ask yourself questions, what it would look like. And then I want you guys to give us a number on a scale of 1 to 5. This is my favorite part, because I love to hear people, what their thoughts actually are, and then what it actually turns out to be is, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I'd rather eat a green fuzzy worm than ever touch doing Mary Kay in my life, which my joke is I was always a 1. See how quickly that changes, right? I just didn't see it for myself, right? I didn't see it like what it would look like for me. Or a 5 being like, Robin, why would we not? Like, why wouldn't I just try? What's the worst case scenario? So right now, you have some options to start your business. Right now, it's $100 to start your Mary Kay business with a full starter kit. Or you have the option to start an e-business, e-start, where you have a website, ability to get your products online for only $30. Or if you're like me, and I already told you I'm extra, I know it. You're like, I want it all. I want the 30, I want the e-start, and I want the product. You're like, I want $130. $130 will get you over $400 worth of product, over $70 worth of website processing, all the credit card stuff, all that jazz. You're going to get it all for $130. So we want to know, on a scale of 1 to 5, comment your number below. And we just want to thank you guys for spending your time with us tonight. Kimmy, thank you for taking a little time away from your grandkids to hang out with me. I love you more than life itself. I'm so grateful that we get to do life together. And you guys, you never know what's going to come out of that little starter kit.
That's right.
My life has changed. So we want to thank you. Have a great rest of your night, and we will see you soon. Bye, you guys.
Bye.